Hanizha says, is it okay for my mother to go to Hajj alone? We are from the Philippines, and it is her first time, inshallah, to perform Hajj this year. She will be accompanied by a sheikh and together with friends. Now, the issue of performing Hajj without a male mahram, there are difference of opinion among scholars. The vast majority prohibit this. But let us not look into the different opinions of scholars. Let us go back to the Quran and to the Sunnah. An authentic hadith. The Prophet said, ﷺ, it is not permissible for a woman who believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment to travel without a male mahram. A statement so beautifully put by our Prophet ﷺ. Now, the Prophet said to travel. Maybe Hajj is included, maybe it's not. Any type of travel is prohibited without a male mahram. This is what the Prophet said ﷺ. Okay, then let us look at what happened after the Prophet said this. A man stood up among the companions after hearing this instruction from the Prophet ﷺ, the prohibition of a woman traveling without a male mahram. So he said, "O Prophet of Allah, my name was selected to go on an expedition for jihad. I'm going to fight in the cause of Allah with army so and so. But my wife went for Hajj." So the guy is in a dilemma. The Prophet ﷺ said to him, "Go and catch with your wife. Catch up with your wife." Which the scholars looked at the hadith and said, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. The Prophet did not ask him, ﷺ, is your wife young or old? The Prophet did not ask him to explain whether she was beautiful or ugly. The Prophet ﷺ did not ask him whether she was alone or with a trustworthy companionship, like a sheikh or other friends and women. The Prophet did not inquire, which means that the ruling is for all. Go and catch up with your wife, because if it was permissible to go alone or with trustworthy companion, the Prophet would not have ordered him to leave jihad and go and accompany his wife. So when you hear and read and learn this hadith, and you learn of difference of opinions of other scholars, you say to them, with all due respect, this is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. They said, yeah, but Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, sent the mothers of the believers, the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, to perform Hajj. So, every woman had her mahram with her. Where does it say in the hadith that they did not have mahrams? Not only that, Sauda bint Zum'ah, may Allah be pleased with her, she was among the mothers of the believers that would never have traveled out of Medina, period. They would say, okay, there's another hadith where the Prophet told us that there will come a time when a woman travels from Aden to in Hadramut or to Sana'a in Yemen, etc., alone. Okay, the Prophet is telling us about something that would happen in the future, not that he's approving of it. Imagine that the Prophet, when he tells us about the coming of the Dajjal, is he approving of it and saying that this is a good thing? Or rather, he's telling us about a prediction of something that Allah told him that would happen in the future. So, when you come with this clear evidence from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and you find that there are different opinions of scholars, you raise your hat to all the scholars and say, with all due respect, I only follow the Quran and the Sunnah, especially if the Sunnah is crystal clear. How dare I follow Tom, Dick, or Harry when the hadith is crystal clear? I appreciate their ijtihad. I appreciate what they had said. But the majority follow the hadith of scholars. And the hadith is crystal clear. So I believe that this is not permissible for your mother to go. I've taken a loan from my siblings. It will take me about 4 years to pay it off. Can I perform Hajj before that? First of all, Hajj is an obligation. It's a fard. It's a pillar of Islam once in a lifetime. If you want to increase more, alhamdulillah, but this is voluntary. Secondly, Allah Azza wa Jal stated that this obligation of Hajj once in a lifetime is upon those who can afford it financially and physically. Thirdly, the Prophet told us alayhi salatu wasalam that when a person is martyred in the cause of Allah, all of his sins are forgiven with the exception of his debts. These are not forgiven. He has to pay them on the day of judgment to the debtors. From these evidences and ahadith, we learn that a person who's going for Hajj for the first time in his life, which is a pillar of Islam, this is not mandatory upon him if he has a loan to pay off. One would say, why? We say because Allah, the Almighty, is the one who told us that Hajj is not obligatory upon you except if you are capable financially and physically. And this person is not. Therefore, if you who want to go to Hajj, if you want reward from Allah Azza wa Jal, then let it be known that paying off your debts to others is more rewardable at the side of Allah than performing Hajj. So this is what you want to do. What is it that you want? Is it reward or just to satisfy yourself? If it's to satisfy yourself, then you're asking the wrong person. If it is to please Allah Azza wa Jal and to gain reward, in this case, pay off your debt first. And this is where a lot of the Muslims take the wrong turn. When they want to do a form of worship, but they have to, in order to do this, bend some rules or even break them. So you get a woman wanting to go to Hajj, and she says, Sheikh, I have sufficient money and funding to go for Hajj. I'm a rich woman and I'm healthy, but I don't have a Mahram, a male man who's related to me, a Mahram who can accompany me for Hajj. So we say, you're not permitted to go. She said, Sheikh, I'm booking for next season's Hajj and I'm going to make Hajj without a Mahram. So I said, well, this is not my problem, this is your problem. She said, I want to please Allah. And I say to her, no. By what you're doing, you are pleasing your desires and self rather than pleasing Allah, because Allah is pleased when you do not disobey Him, and going to Hajj without a Mahram is disobeying Him. But no one listens. Likewise, for you, when you have this debt, pay it off. Now, the exception would be if your debt given to them over the next 4 years is on installments. So your agreement with them is to pay them an X amount of money every month. And your salary is sufficient and it's ongoing. And by going to Hajj and coming back, the monthly payment are on time. In this case, there's no problem for you to go for Hajj. This would be accepted. Yet I would recommend that even though you don't go and you try to collect the money of the Hajj, which might mount to 2 or 3 monthly installments, and give it to the people who own it, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. She says, can a girl make her Mahr as Hajj, like asking the man to take her to Hajj or for Umrah as Mahr? Mahr is dowry. And we know that when a man wants to get married to a woman, he has to obtain the proposal of her guardian, her father, in the presence of two male Muslim witnesses, and he gives his consent in front of them. Part of the condition is that he provides her with a mahr, with a dowry. So whether it's something financial, money, a piece of land, a property, or anything that can be of value. Now, when a woman demands going for Hajj, this is something of value. This is totally permissible. However, I would be more inclined to put a figure. So if we are in year 2023 or 1445 Hijrah, she should estimate, or her guardian, how much the package would be to go for Hajj, and put that number of euros or dollars or dinars or whatever in the marriage contract. Why? Because 10, 15 years down the line, they may have their differences and she may file for khul'. So the judge would say, give back your dowry. And she says, I didn't receive any. Or, I went to Hajj 5 years ago. How much was the Hajj? Here we come to a crossroad because the husband says 10,000 euros, she says 2,000 euros. So we have to quantify it and put a figure to it, and Allah knows best.